Welcome back to my YouTube channel, everyone, and thank you for joining us today because what we are about to uncover will truly surprise you as we dive deep into the fascinating and mysterious world of rare coins where a simple-looking penny, the 2014 D 1-cent coin, has shocked collectors, experts, and investors with its unbelievable value of $62 million. And while to most people a penny is nothing more than a small coin worth just 1 cent, in this case the story is very different, because behind the shine of copper and zinc lies a series of mistakes, minting errors, historical quirks, and collecting possibilities that elevate this particular coin into the realm of priceless treasures. And when we say priceless, we are talking about staggering figures that no one would ever imagine a penny could fetch, yet the 2014 D 1-cent coin proves otherwise. And today we will explore exactly why this coin is so valuable, what kinds of errors make it so unique, the mysteries behind its creation, and the reasons why collectors are willing to pay astronomical sums for it. So let's begin by first picturing what makes coins special in the eyes of collectors, because when coins are minted in the billions, they are normally so common that their value barely exceeds face value. But every now and then mistakes slip through the cracks, and these mistakes become golden opportunities for collectors who understand that rarity drives value. So when we turn our attention to the 2014 D penny, minted at the Denver Mint, we discover that although billions were produced, certain error coins slipped past quality control, and these error coins are the very ones that have made headlines, with some auctioning for tens of millions of dollars, and at the center of it all is one 2014 D penny that fetched a jaw-dropping $62 million, and you might be wondering, how can a penny minted in modern times be worth so much? So let's break it down, because first we need to consider minting errors, which are the biggest reason this coin gained value, and among the most well-known are double die errors, off-center strikes, die cracks, planchette flaws, wrong metal compositions, and misaligned dies, each of which can turn a simple coin into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece for collectors. And in the case of the 2014 D penny, it is believed that a handful was struck with extraordinary minting flaws that escaped detection. And when such coins are discovered later, collectors immediately recognize their value. Now let's talk specifically about double die errors, because this is one of the most famous types of mistakes, and it occurs when the die that strikes the coin is improperly engraved, causing designs such as Lincoln's profile, the date, or the lettering "In God We Trust" to appear doubled. And when such doubling is clear and dramatic, it makes the coin extremely rare, and many of the highest value pennies in history owe their worth to such doubling. So if the 2014 D penny featured strong doubling, it would instantly be seen as rare and desirable. Now imagine the possibility of a misstruck coin with both doubling and off-center errors combined, where part of Lincoln's head is cut off or shifted toward the rim, because such combinations make the error even more dramatic, and collectors love dramatic errors. But the story doesn't stop there, because another key aspect that makes this penny so valuable is speculation that some were struck on the wrong planchette, meaning instead of being struck on the typical zinc planchette coated with copper, a few might have been struck on leftover blanks from other denominations, such as a dime or even a foreign coin. And these kinds of mint mistakes are legendary in the world of numismatics, because they make the coin not only unique but also historically fascinating, and this element of mystery drives collectors to bid higher and higher amounts, leading to astronomical figures like $62 million. But let's go deeper, because the 2014 D penny also comes from an era when modern technology was supposed to prevent such mistakes, which makes it even more shocking that such dramatic errors could have occurred. And when things that are supposed to be impossible actually happen, they generate huge excitement, because rarity combined with impossibility makes for the perfect storm of collectability. And that is exactly why this penny is viewed as extraordinary. But what truly pushed the value sky high was the condition of the coin, because collectors place immense importance on the grade or state of preservation, and when a coin is nearly flawless, graded as mint state 70 or close to it, it becomes far more valuable. And imagine a coin with dramatic minting errors, in nearly perfect condition, surviving untouched for years until someone finally discovers it. That combination is pure gold for collectors. So in the case of the 2014 D penny, the existence of such a specimen explains why a buyer would be willing to pay $62 million. Now let's explore why people are willing to pay such enormous sums for a single coin, because at first glance it seems irrational, but in reality it is all about rarity, history, and prestige, because wealthy collectors want to own something that no one else can have. And when you think about art collectors who pay hundreds of millions for a single painting, it makes sense that coin collectors do the same, because coins are miniature works of art. They carry national history, and they embody the passage of time, so owning a unique coin means owning a piece of history that no one else can ever replicate, and that sense of exclusivity is priceless. Now another important factor is the thrill of discovery, because every coin collector dreams of finding a rare coin in their pocket change, and the idea that a penny from 2014, something so recent, could be worth $62 million, inspires thousands of people to check their change jars, their piggy banks, and even rolls of pennies from the bank, and this excitement keeps the story alive, as people imagine that they might hold the next multi-million-dollar coin without even realizing it. And here's where possibilities expand further, because experts believe that there could be more era 2014 AD pennies out there waiting to be discovered, and while only a handful might ever surface, the idea that they exist fuels the frenzy. And in the world of coin collecting, demand drives value, so as long as people continue to search and speculate, the legend of the 2014 AD penny will grow, and with it, the value will climb higher. Now another angle to explore is the economic psychology of investing in rare coins, because in uncertain times, investors look for alternative assets, and rare coins are one such avenue, since their value tends to rise with rarity and collector interest, and the 2014 AD penny represents the ultimate in this regard, because it combines modern relevance, shocking rarity, and a captivating backstory, making it not only a collectible but also a serious investment, and that explains why auctions for such coins see bidding wars that push values into the tens of millions. But let's also consider the cultural significance, because coins like these are part of American heritage. They reflect not only minting history but also the flaws in systems that were thought to be perfect. And that irony makes them even more intriguing. So when a 2014 AD penny with errors surfaces, it doesn't just attract numismatists, it attracts historians, economists, and everyday dreamers who all want to be part of the story. Now to paint an even clearer picture, let's go through possible types of errors one by one in more detail, because each has the power to increase the value dramatically. For example, an off-center strike could result in Lincoln's head appearing halfway off the coin, making it visually striking and desirable. A double die obverse could show doubled inscriptions in Liberty or In God We Trust, which makes for dramatic eye appeal. A die crack might appear as raised lines across the coin, giving it a unique fingerprint. A clipped planchette could leave the coin with a chunk missing from the edge, making it one of a kind. And then there's the possibility of transitional errors, such as a coin struck on the wrong year's composition or using leftover metal stock, and any of these scenarios could have occurred in 2014, creating pennies that are totally unlike the billions of ordinary ones, and that explains the staggering $62 million valuation. But beyond the errors, we must also consider the human fascination with mistakes, because mistakes remind us that even in highly controlled environments like the US Mint, perfection is not guaranteed, and that small imperfection can create an object of immense beauty and value, and people find meaning in these flaws, because they mirror life itself, where imperfections often create the most interesting stories. And so the 2014 AD penny becomes not just a coin but a symbol of rarity born out of imperfection, and that deeper meaning adds to its mystique. But to truly understand why collectors go to such lengths, we must also consider the role of auctions, because auction houses thrive on rarity and hype, and when a unique coin surfaces, they promote it heavily, creating buzz that drives bids higher and higher. And in the case of the 2014 AD penny, the excitement surrounding its discovery, its story of error, and the competition among wealthy collectors pushed the price to $62 million, and this is why one person's pocket change became another person's treasure. So as you can see, the world of rare coins is filled with endless possibilities, and the 2014 AD penny stands as one of the most fascinating examples in modern times, showing us that even the smallest denomination can carry unimaginable worth. And it serves as a reminder that the next time you pick up a penny, don't dismiss it. Next, 2016 AD 1 cent USA coin, to another exciting journey where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and unbelievable stories behind something as ordinary as a penny. And today we will be exploring the incredible and jaw-dropping tale of the 2016 AD 1 cent coin, a coin that has stunned collectors, shocked the numismatic world, and continues to stir conversations because this seemingly simple copper-plated zinc coin has been reported to have sold for as much as $60 million due to its rare errors, unique mistakes, and mysterious qualities that make it one of the most valuable modern cents ever discovered. And while most people think that pennies are worth just 1 cent and rarely give them a second thought, the truth is that every coin minted has the potential to carry flaws or anomalies that can transform it from pocket change into a priceless treasure. And the 2016 D-penny is the perfect example of how something overlooked by millions of people can hold an extraordinary secret waiting to be uncovered. So let's take a long and detailed journey into what makes this coin so special, why errors can create such immense value, what possibilities exist in the world of minting mistakes, and why collectors are willing to pay tens of millions for what looks like an everyday coin. And to truly understand this phenomenon, we first have to explore the context of how coins are made. Because every coin minted at facilities like Denver, Philadelphia, or San Francisco goes through an intense process involving massive presses, dies, planchets, and striking operations, and any slight shift in alignment, any double strike, any misprint, or any planchette defect can create a variation that is incredibly rare, and rarity combined with demand always drives value. So when a 2016 D-penny emerges with multiple errors, the collecting world stops and takes notice, and reports of this particular coin showcase several possibilities, such as double dies where the lettering or details like Liberty Indiana God We Trust, or the year 2016 appear with a shadow effect or repeated image, or misaligned strikes where the design is off-center creating an uneven rim, or even wrong planchette strikes where the coin was accidentally stamped on a planchette intended for a dime, nickel, or foreign coin, making it instantly more valuable. And beyond that, there are cases of missing clad layers where the copper plating didn't adhere properly, leaving a zinc surface exposed and changing the color and texture of the coin, which collectors find extraordinary. And then there's the chance of broad strikes where the coin was struck without the restraining collar, making it larger than normal, or off-metal strikes where rare experimental planchets were accidentally used, and all of these are possibilities that make the 2016 D-penny stand out in ways unimaginable. And while an average person might toss such a coin into a jar or spend it at a store without realizing its uniqueness, seasoned collectors know that the market for such error coins is fierce, and when word got out that a 2016 D-penny had surfaced with multiple overlapping errors, suddenly its price skyrocketed and at auction it fetched an astounding $60 million, shocking the world and making headlines across numismatic circles. Because never before had a modern penny from the 21st century reached such an astronomical value, and people began to wonder, what exactly makes a small copper-plated coin worth more than luxury mansions, yachts, or rare paintings? And the answer lies in the perfect storm of rarity, condition, uniqueness, and demand, because coins are not just metal but pieces of history, snapshots of a moment in time, and when one defies the norm it becomes a legend. And in the case of the 2016 D-penny, it was not just one error but a combination of mistakes that made it an absolute marvel, with reports suggesting that the coin displayed a double die obverse where Abraham Lincoln's profile and the inscriptions appeared doubled, an off-center strike giving it a tilted look, and a partial collar broad strike that gave it a slightly expanded edge, along with surface anomalies where the copper coating was incomplete, creating a patchy two-tone effect. And because error coins like this rarely escape the mint, when they do, they instantly become holy grails for collectors. And as the story spread, demand surged, and the price kept climbing until it reached the unbelievable sum of $60 million, and while some skeptics argue about how such a value could be possible, anyone familiar with high-end numismatics knows that unique coins have fetched record-breaking sums many times before, such as the 1933 Double Eagle, the 1794 Flowing Hair Dollar, or the 1913 Liberty Head Nickel, each reaching millions because of their rarity and history. And now the 2016 D-penny has joined that elite club of legendary coins. And when we think about it, the possibilities of errors on modern coins are endless, ranging from die cracks, cuds, clip planchets, lamination errors, die caps, multiple strikes, brocages, and transitional errors, each capable of creating something spectacular. And what's even more fascinating is that coins like these could be lying around unnoticed in jars, piggy banks, or circulation, meaning that ordinary people might have a fortune sitting right under their noses without realizing it. And this is what makes the hunt so thrilling, because collectors and treasure hunters know that one lucky find can change their lives forever, and the 2016 D-penny proves exactly that, showing how a simple cent can break records and rewrite the history of numismatics. And as we imagine the excitement of discovering such a coin, the adrenaline of realizing that a 1-cent piece could be worth a mansion, and the astonishment of auction houses announcing final bids in the tens of millions, we start to see why this story captivates so many people, because it is not just about a coin, it is about possibility, chance, rarity, and the thrill of discovery. And when we go even deeper into the technicalities of minting, we see how every step offers room for anomalies, whether it's the creation of dies where doubling can occur, the striking process where misalignment creates off-center coins, the use of wrong planchets, or even human error in quality control, and all of these factors combine to make error coins rare jewels, and in the case of the 2016 UD penny, the alignment of multiple mistakes on one coin turned it into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure, and it is these once-in-a-lifetime coins that inspire collectors to keep searching, keep learning, and keep chasing the dream that maybe, just maybe, they too might stumble upon the next multi-million-dollar penny hiding in plain sight. And so the story of the 2016 D penny valued at $60 million is not only about one coin but about the broader world of numismatics, where rarity meets passion, where mistakes become miracles, and where the smallest things can hold the greatest value. And this is why collectors, historians, and enthusiasts alike will continue to talk about this coin for years to come, reminding us that even in the ordinary there lies the extraordinary, and that sometimes the most incredible treasures can be found in the most unexpected places, right there in the palm of your hand. Last 2005 1-cent USA coin, and get ready because today we are diving into one of the most mind-blowing and fascinating stories from the world of coin collecting, a story that shows how a small piece of copper-colored metal, something most of us see as almost worthless loose change, can turn into an unbelievable fortune worth $50 million, and yes, you heard that right, a single 2005 1-cent coin, a penny, has been valued at $50 million because of a combination of errors, minting mistakes, historical possibilities, collector rarity, and the sheer magic that surrounds numismatics. So sit back and imagine for a moment holding in your hand a coin that most people would overlook on the ground, but that very same coin turning out to be rarer than diamonds and more sought after than some of the most expensive treasures in the world. And in this story we will break down what happened in 2005. What kinds of minting errors can occur, how such a coin could possibly exist, and why collectors are willing to pay such insane amounts of money for it, because the world of coin errors is not only about misprints but also about history, scarcity, and the wild possibilities of something being one of a kind. And the 2005 penny we are talking about is believed to have a mixture of double die errors, off-metal striking, planchette issues, and alignment misstrikes that together created a coin that should never have left the mint but somehow did. And when something like that happens, collectors lose their minds, because it is not just a coin anymore, it is a story frozen in copper, a mistake that survived quality control, a piece of art gone wrong but becoming more valuable because of the flaw. And this is why in the numismatic world errors can transform an ordinary coin into a multi-million-dollar rarity. So let's start with 2005 itself, a year that most people associate with ordinary cents that have the Lincoln Memorial reverse, made in the billions, so common that we don't even blink when we see one. But among those billions there are always tiny chances for freak accidents, mechanical slips, double dies, rotated dies, off-center strikes, brockages, lamination errors, and sometimes even a coin struck on the wrong planchette entirely, like a dime or foreign coin blank. And when one of these gets confirmed with high grading from experts like PCGS or NGC, its value skyrockets. Now imagine if a single 2005 cent carried multiple errors at once, like a double die on the obverse where Lincoln's features are doubled, plus a misaligned reverse with the memorial shifted, and on top of that struck on a transitional planchette such as a 95% copper blank instead of the 97.5% zinc planchets used after 1982, suddenly you have a coin that doesn't just have one error but a cascade of them. And error collectors know that multiple overlapping mistakes on one coin are exponentially rarer than a single flaw, which is why the value can reach astronomical heights. And that's exactly what makes this particular 2005 penny so incredible, because not only does it demonstrate doubling in the lettering of Liberty and I in God We Trust, but it also shows off-centering problems, with a design slightly off the rim, and a texture inconsistency that suggests it may have been struck on an experimental or leftover copper planchette from decades earlier. And this is where the story gets more fascinating, because the United States Mint occasionally experiments with metals, occasionally transitions between compositions, and sometimes foreign planchets slip into the press lines. So what if the 2005 penny was struck on a foreign coin blank or leftover transitional piece? Then instantly its rarity jumps into the stratosphere, and collectors, always hungry for the next big discovery, would compete furiously at auctions to own it, driving the price far beyond millions. And this is why the figure of $50 million isn't just fantasy, it is the result of rarity meeting demand meeting error perfection. Now let's picture the discovery of this coin. Someone maybe had it jingling in their pocket, maybe it came out of a bank roll or was spotted in circulation, and at first glance it looked normal, but then under a magnifying glass the doubling was spotted, then the off-centering was noticed, then the weight was measured, and instead of the typical 2.5 grams of a zinc cent, it weighed closer to 3.1 grams, suggesting a copper planchet, and suddenly alarms went off, because that would mean this coin should not even exist in 2005. It was like a time traveler from the pre-1982 era, and once experts confirmed it under microscopes and advanced testing, its uniqueness was certified, and once uniqueness is certified, value is limitless, because in the coin world a unique piece means collectors cannot simply wait for another, they must fight for this one. And that battle drives auction prices higher and higher. So when we hear $50 million for a penny, it almost seems unreal, but when you consider that there are billionaires who love numismatics and who would gladly pay such amounts for bragging rights to the world's most famous era coin, suddenly it becomes believable. And now think about the kinds of mistakes that could make this penny so fascinating. For instance, a double die obverse is one of the most sought after errors. The famous 1955 double die penny is worth tens of thousands even in worn condition, so if a 2005 penny had a stronger, crisper doubling on Lincoln's face or the date or the motto, that alone could command six figures. Add to that an off-metal strike on copper instead of zinc, and you are in seven-figure territory. Throw in misalignment and rotated reverse, and suddenly the rarity compounds. Because very few coins survive with such multiple errors intact, most get caught at the mint, and those that don't are often damaged in circulation. But if this 2005 penny somehow slipped out in pristine condition, may be found early and kept safe, then it could achieve a grade of MS68 or higher, and once you combine condition rarity with error rarity, you reach legendary status, and legendary status is where numbers like $50 million start appearing, because coins are not just metal, they are symbols, they are history, they are the stuff of myth, and when myths turn real, collectors will pay anything. And now let's dive deeper into how errors happen. At the mint, coins are struck by high-speed presses that slam dies into planchets with tons of pressure. But if dies are misaligned, or reused past their life, or installed incorrectly, or if foreign planchets enter the line, the results can be spectacular, and sometimes double striking occurs when the planchet doesn't eject properly and gets struck again, creating doubling or tripling effects. Or a blockage where one coin gets struck against another, creating mirror images, and all of these are possible explanations for the 2005 penny anomaly. But what makes this one different is that it seems to combine many of these at once, a perfect storm of mint mistakes, and in the world of collecting, perfect storms equal perfect values. So by now you can see why people are so obsessed with finding one, because who wouldn't want to trade a single cent for $50 million? And here's where it gets interesting. Because possibilities of undiscovered error coins still being out there are very real, with billions minted each year, quality control cannot catch every mistake, and many error coins are still sitting in jars, rolls, piggy banks, waiting for a sharp-eyed collector to notice. So maybe another 2005 rarity still exists in circulation, and the thought of that drives treasure hunting fever, people carefully examining every penny they come across, magnifying glasses and coin scales becoming tools of dreamers. And sometimes those dreams come true, just like with this unbelievable penny. And when it hit the auction block, the story captured headlines around the world. People couldn't believe that a penny could rival the price of a mansion, a yacht, even a private jet. But that's the magic of numismatics, turning pocket change into treasures beyond imagination. And collectors love the narrative, because owning such a coin is like owning a piece of history, a piece of impossibility, something that by all logic should not exist but does. And that paradox is priceless. So as we continue to explore, think about all the famous coins that fetch millions: the 1933 Double Eagle, the 1794 Flowing Hair Dollar, the 1913 Liberty Head Nickel, all examples of rarity commanding incredible sums. And now alongside them sits the 2005 1 cent, the modern marvel, the underdog penny that turned into a $50 million superstar, proving that even in our time new legends can emerge. And as long as humans value rarity, stories, and the thrill of owning the impossible, coins like this will always fascinate. So the next time you see a penny, don't dismiss it, check it, study it, because who knows, maybe lightning will strike again, and you might be holding the next record breaker in your hand. And that, my friends, is the beauty of the hobby, the allure of the hunt, and the reason why a small copper-colored disc from 2005 is today known as one of the most valuable coins ever, worth a jaw-dropping $50 million.